conduct of business.
Item 6A, schedule budget meetings to review the proposed fiscal year 2019-20 annual operating and capital improvement program budgets.
Finance Director.
Okay. Good afternoon, evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm Keith DeMartini, your Finance Director. I just want to present an overview of what the planned budget meeting schedule is for this upcoming fiscal year 2019-20 budget cycle. So every year the city does schedule special City Council sessions, meetings to review and consider the city's proposed annual operating and capital improvement program budgets. The study sessions meetings allow the City Council to review and consider issues related to the preparation of the operating and capital budgets and the work program. The budget study session meetings also allow the City Council an opportunity to provide staff with direction regarding work programs and city manager proposed service level enhancements. The table on this slide lists the proposed budget schedule for this budget year. So the first meeting that's tentatively scheduled is on May 29th, starting at 10 a.m. and lasting pretty much the entire day, where we will present an overview of the proposed budget, and all members of the senior leadership team will be there and be available to answer questions about their specific department budgets. And then the next session is scheduled for June 11th, before the regular meeting for City Council, where it will be a continuation. If there are additional questions and comments from Council, we can answer them at that time. And then the next session would be held the next day on June 12th. Again, a special study session, a continuation to review any additional questions. And then finally, on June 25th, before your regularly scheduled meeting, again, if there were any additional comments or questions or topics of discussion, we can take them in a special study session prior to the meeting. And then at the meeting at 7 o'clock on the 25th, we would hold a public hearing and request Council to adopt the operating and the capital budgets for fiscal year 19-20. So with that, I welcome your feedback on the proposed schedule and the structure of the hearings for the upcoming budget cycle. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Hello, Irene, I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's hot. It's hot. Are we doing anything special to make these dates and meetings more public than we have in the past? And the reason I'm saying that is we typically post these things on our website. We get maybe one or two people, and then that's it. And then people complain later that we're not transparent, or we should be doing more than we've done. And so I just want to see if there is something we can do to kind of up the ante as far as public outreach goes.
City Manager?
Sure, absolutely. What I don't know that we've done as of yet is post our budget meetings on Nextdoor and do a citywide post. We can do that. We can look into doing a press release. What I'll tell you, in my experience, having been a budget officer in another city, oftentimes, unless there's a very, very contentious issue, people, while they care, they're not often willing to do the trade-off between putting their kids to bed or watching that favorite show and come out to an afternoon city council meeting. And so our communication about our budget and our fiscal challenge is really going to have to be multidimensional, and that's part of getting into what we talked about with the public education around our fiscal condition and any potential revenue measure is having meetings where we kind of meet people where they are. If they're a part of a service organization, we get on that calendar and give a presentation there. But we will certainly post it on our website, do a citywide Nextdoor post. Some of our more successful meetings as of late have involved where we've sent direct mailers to every household. Those are typically for smaller meetings where it's a development project specific. We can draw a 300-foot circle and do a mailing. Unfortunately, a citywide mailing in San Bruno runs about $6,000 per mailing, a large part of that being postage. And so we will absolutely continue to find ways to bring people out. And the one addition that we are doing this year, in addition to the various other meetings, is having that all-day city council budget retreat on May 29th, beginning at 10 a.m. looking to go either to 4 or 5 p.m., but to really have an in-depth conversation with the City Council about our budget challenges, where we are kind of not constrained immediately by the falling nighttime hour, but really have some time for the City Council to sink their teeth into the budget, and that will also be a public meeting, and we will notice that as such.
Okay, thank you.
Marty?
Thank you. I think it's great that we're starting all of this because, and it's being done differently, because approving the budget is probably one of the most important things a council does. I share kind of the similar thoughts with having more people attend. And like tonight, 7 o'clock, we have a few, thank you for showing up. People watch online. So my concern here is at 10 o'clock, someone's gonna have to either be retired or take a day off of work. So are we planning to put this on YouTube, the meeting, so that people could later on take a look at it? If they take a look on the 29th, they might get a little fired up and go, you know what, I'm going to go to the 6/11 one because I heard something different that I really don't like, or maybe the different idea. So if we're going to do this, I think I'm asking that we should have some way of sharing our meetings recorded. It's the most important thing we do, and people can clearly go back and go, well, you had your opportunity to come and hear, and it's here. So those are my comments for now.
Laura, anything?
I don't know if you're flexible on the 6/12 date, but if that can be moved to a little bit later, before the 25th. Already stated that I won't be in town on the 5th through the 14th.
Irene?
Oh,
And then Michael?
I think it's a great idea to announce the meetings next door. I think that's an up-and-coming way to communicate with people. And I don't know if this is possible, but is there some way that we can do maybe a monkey survey or something to get people to give us input about what they think is important beyond something more personal, beyond the survey that they just took? Something like, please don't cut swimming, or we love the bicycle police patrol on San Mateo Avenue, please consider keeping that, or I don't know, just more personal kinds of responses that we wouldn't get at a study session either, that we can kind of compile and see, just to see what people are talking about that we don't always get a chance to know.
Sure, we can look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Mike?
In discussing, making the meetings more known to the public and expecting a bigger draw, I don't know that it's necessarily such an interesting topic. And I mean, if I had a choice, I don't think I would go to these meetings, but I guess I don't have a choice, so I have to show up. But I was thinking maybe to get the information out, if we were able to summarize things, and I think the city manager has talked in the past about doing smaller handouts, infographics, things that just kind of highlight things about how dollars are being spent, where the dollars are going, how they're broken down, where it comes from. So then the public is informed, and they don't have to sit through an entire day of getting into the minutia and understanding all of the mechanics of it, but still feel comfortable that they understand how their tax dollars are being focused. So if we can plan on doing that in conjunction with these meetings, I think everybody could benefit from that.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we've talked about is doing a reader-friendly budget, essentially a high-level 2 to 4 page document that summarizes what is a 300-page budget document to really make it more accessible and available to the community. And so we will certainly look at doing that, and we've talked about potentially making that available this year.
One final comment, an interesting comment that you continue to hear, and we heard a comment tonight under public comment about, we need to cut back, we need to be more lean. And the reality of it is the city cut back many years ago during difficult times, and there's never been good times. It's always been a lean city, and so there's got to be a simple way to be able to tell the story. And it has to be told in a very understandable, obtainable way. So I think that from the comments you guys get where we're coming from.
And for me, I know I deal with the budget, so it intrigues me, but I went back to the 08-09 staffing component for the city of San Bruno to the 18-19 approved budget and was doing some comparing to see where in different divisions and different departments where we were then are now. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? Has it stayed flat? And I think some of those are important factors for folks to understand. And correct me, but and again, for the record too, it's our city manager and our finance director's first time facilitating this budget, and as it is important for us to approve the budget, it's probably one of the most significant parts of their jobs is to provide and the city manager's recommended budget, which will have a city manager's message, as has in the past, that helps to put together and help understand where we're at, where we're going within the recommended budget, which is not adopted at that time. I believe also in the June, whenever the June events are, those usually have been in the past recorded. So those have been available then and should be available now. What I also was a little taken back, but understand, is the 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I thought, really? So, but at the same time, too, what I do appreciate from what I'm understanding is staff has spent a great deal of time along with department heads and personnel, and to not only just say, so where are we at and what do you need, but to really go deeper and understand and ask the questions, why? Why have we done it? How are we doing it? Help me understand where we need to go. And I think that is something that I appreciate that all the department heads, because a lot of them it's new for their first time for this budget, as well as to the finance director and manager, who are again doing something that is out of precedent, something the city has not done, but it is a critical time. And this council has been, as far as this year is concerned, for revenue, looking at that, looking at the budget early, and going to this 10 to 5 is again the focus of this council, trying to ensure that this city has good footing, good future, and that we get done what the citizens expect of this community. Irene.
I have one more comment, and you're probably doing it, but just so we also emphasize it for people who are listening, we get a lot of state mandates. And we have to comply with what the state says about different things, like the storm drain, trash catchers that we have to install, and many other things that are coming down the pike, so to speak. And we don't get those funded from the state. They just say, you have to do this. I don't care how expensive it is, you do it. So I think that's something that people need to understand as well. So I'm just throwing that comment out there so we can make sure that's covered.
So, Mr. Finance Director, can you have all that done by next week?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, got it. So there has to be some rescheduling, tweaking potential that was brought up. There's been a lot of feedback from council, so appreciate the work that's done and what will be coming forward. And we'll go ahead. Do you have enough? Okay.